In our passage, Joseph dreams of bread and stars, which have to do with salvation and dominion. Bread or food on a real practical level, it gives you strength to do the work that you have to do during the day. But Jesus says not to labor for food which perishes. And by this, he doesn't mean that we don't labor for food at all or we never eat. But what he means is that we labor for food that endures to eternal life. And he says, the Son of Man will give you this food. And that food, that bread, is Jesus himself. He says this in John 6. He says, I am the living bread which comes down from heaven. If you eat this bread, you will live forever. Elsewhere, Jesus says, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. So to eat the bread of Christ is to do his will, as the Son and the Father are one. And how do we know what his will is? Right here, Bible. You do this, you read this, and it's nourishing to you. This is our bread. This is our food. When we do it, we are nourished, and we are able to be given the strength to do the things that God calls us to do the work that he has put before us, to accomplish the tasks that he's given us. And the second dream that Joseph has to do, it has stars, and it has to do, again, with dominion and rule and salvation. And that is what the sacrament of wine also signifies. Later in Joseph's story, the chalice bearer has a dream about wine, and that corresponds to the dream about the stars. Wine is something that kings drink. It is a kingly symbol. It signifies rule over the creation. It signifies enjoyment over the creation. You can rest. You have bread at the beginning of the day, and then at the end of the day, when you've done your work, you have wine, and you enjoy your work. You rest from your work, and you enjoy the fruits of God's creation. The scriptures tell us that wine is given to make the heart of man glad, and we see that here. We see that there is enjoyment. C.R. Wiley has written this fantastic book on Tom Bombadil from Lord of the Rings, and it talks about this connection between dominion and enjoyment, that there is a way of exercising rule which is not heavy-handed. It's not rule like the Gentiles, to use Jesus' phraseology, but there is genuine rule which rejoices in the creation, and that is what wine does or signifies for us. The blood of Christ is shed for your forgiveness, and then Jesus rises from the dead, and he ascends to heaven as King of heaven and earth. And being united to Christ means that you participate with him in that rule, that you are seated because you are part of Christ's body. You are seated at the right hand of the Father in the heavenlies, and you reign and rule with him. So salvation and dominion are given to us. They are offered to us by the sacrifice of the bread king. So come and welcome to Jesus Christ.